Hey everybody, it's Jesse, and I'm working on some React Native stuff, so I figured I'd just stream it. Feel free to ask me questions in the chat if you want to, and I'll do my best to keep up with the chat. I'm going to do my normal Pomodoro sessions, so every time a Pomodoro session ends, I will make sure that I look over at the chat. Let me know if you do watch. Let me know how the stream quality is. I'm doing things a little bit differently than normal. Everything looks good so far, though. All right, and I'm gonna let everybody know on Twitter that I'm streaming. And I guess I'll put out a link too. I'm just trying to grab this link. Everything's running a bit slow. Alright, now I got the link. I'll be able to put this out on Twitter for everyone. Okay. Alright, so now that's out there on Twitter, and I'm going to shut down my Twitter window now. Try to save as much as I can here in terms of computing power. Alright, cool. Let me switch my screen so y'all can see what I'm working on. And let's do this. Put me down in the corner, and we'll move this up. Okay, so basically here's what we're working on, and here's my sketch window. Let me open up Sketch. There we go. I'm gonna pull this up here. Okay, so here's our designs for this app. It's a cryptocurrency app, and right now there's already a web app that does this, and I have it open on my other screen. Let me pull it over so you can see what it looks like. Where's it at? Okay. Alright, so here's the app right now. And you can see basically it syncs up with your MetaMask in your browser. If you're not familiar with MetaMask, it's an extension for your browser it's like a crypto wallet So it can sync up with that, and then it shows you in a really nice UI more information about your tokens that you have. So um, it tells you how much you have, what the price is, how much has changed in 24 hours, and then the total. So really nice. You can send and receive currencies. So it's when I first saw it, I thought, wow, this is like the nicest user interface I've seen to do this. So now we're going to try to take that and turn it into an app using React Native. So mostly we'll be doing work here with this screen. Let's see. So we're getting some error messages right now. Let me refresh this. So I'm coming into this project a little bit later on. A lot of the stuff has already been here. So I've done some UI work. Right now, what I was trying to do is get an effect like this, where we have ellipses in the middle and the rest of the address is truncated. So like this particular layout is what I'm going for right now. I'm working on this screen, and so I've already set up this. So now I'm working on this top part. So there was already a utility made here called Ellipse Text, and I thought maybe that might do what I wanted it to do, but it's not doing that. So I'm gonna go back in here now, and let me make this bigger so y'all can see. There we go. And let's get as much space as we can here. There we go. Okay, so right now I'm gonna get rid of that. So instead of just using the address, I was trying to use this ellipse text. So we'll get rid of that for now, so we can see the whole address back in, and we were pulling this in, but we're gonna get rid of that. We'll save it, and we can see we have the hot reload set up, so this should work. There we go. So now we can see the whole address is in here. We don't really want the whole address, so I wonder, maybe we can just modify this utilities. I was trying to work more with UI stuff, but I can't work with the string this big, right? I'm not going to be able to get this layout if this is huge all the way across the screen and going on to the other one. So let's work on truncating this first. There's a GitHub repo for this too. It's called balance.io is the GitHub organization, and then the repo for this is the balance wallet. So you can check out all the code there if you like. I also have it forked on my GitHub repositories, so you can check that out there too if you'd like. Alright, so right now, let's see what we're working. Okay, so we're splitting. I see. So this ellipse text is splitting based on word. So that's alright. That's why it wasn't working for us, because there's no spaces in between here. So it was just getting rid of the whole thing and adding it in. So if we Yeah, let's edit this a bit. So let me go back here and let me undo what I just did. And let's put this back in. Oops. Okay. Let's put that back in. We'll see. There we go. So now we have that ellipses. Let's go into utilities and see what happens if we can split. Okay, cool. There we go. All right, that's a lot better. That's not exactly what is here. See, so you see the ellipses are in here. Yeah, yeah. Well, at least we know we can do this. So we're definitely going to need to work with that a little bit. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy and paste this. I guess we have two options. We can either expand this to have an option to make it do what we want, or we can copy and paste and make an entirely um, new utility. I'm just gonna go with a new utility for now. I don't know if it's probably going to be like duplicating a lot more than we probably need to duplicate, but I think this will end up being a little bit faster for us. Alright, so let's say ellipse. We're going to call this ellipse address. Okay. And then we'll go in here and I will put this back to the way it was, because there may be other parts of this app that are using this currently, so I don't want to mess them up. And this would be useful for something more like a sentence, right, or a paragraph. And we're going to make this more useful for our case. So let's save that and go back to our wallet screen, and let's change this to ellipse address, and then we should see what we had here before. There we are. Okay, so what we need then, at the very least, we want to, all right, let's see what we're doing. So we want to get 1, 2, 3. We want to get the first 4 and the last 4 characters here. So that's what we need to try to do. So let's work with what we have here and try to achieve that. And actually, this is going to be a lot more straightforward than I at first thought, right? Because if we know we just want the first and last 4 and the ellipses in between, this is actually going to be really easy. So we won't even need this filter. We won't need a lot. Like, we're not going to need max length. We're just going to need this text. So we're not even going to have this if statement. We don't need this const. We don't need ellipse. We don't need current length. We don't need any of this filtering. Yeah, actually, you know what? Let's filter word. Yeah, let's get rid of all of this. And we'll just break this out. So let's go const address array equals text dot split, and we're just splitting every single character apart. And so then we're gonna have const first for, and of course we're also gonna have last for, but the first for will end up being I guess, should we want this to be a string? Yeah, maybe we won't need, I think we won't need, all right, I'll go through and make it work. I think I'm overthinking how to uh, like optimize this right away. Also, let me know too if anybody can let me know how the stream quality is on your end. I think that would be really helpful. Let's see. And there's a Slack channel for this particular project, so there was just a message on there, so I was checking that out. Okay. Alright, so let's just break it out into all the parts that we could have. First for, last for, and then the result then will be we can do this array. Let's see if we can do address array. So let me check the join. 'Cause it's been a while since I looked at the documentation for join, but we may be able to give it multiple parameters and then join together just the parts that we want from here. If I can find I don't have a window open. I'll do it on my other screen then, I guess. I'll pull it over so y'all can see. There may be some value in showing my how I'm going to look this up. So JavaScript join, and MDN is going to be one of the first things that comes up. So that's what I'm going to check. That's normally my go-to. Yep, there we go. MDN on the top. Alright, so I want to see, is this it? I guess there's not. There's not another way. Alright, so let's see if we can could split this array. These basic array things are like stuff you would do in an intro course, you know? And then if you don't use them, you totally forget them. JavaScript, let's see. Alright, so I'm going to search for split off part of an array. Alright, cool. So a split function, we're getting, okay, dot split might be what we need. So let's look at the documentation first, because that Stack Overflow one was a little bit old. Not that it wouldn't work anymore. Alright. And what does it return? Okay, this one returns another array. That might be what we want. So this was a string object into. Oh, we don't. Yeah, we don't want the split, but. Splits. Okay, so we could use that second one. Alright, yeah, we could do it. We could split 4 to get that first one. Alright, cool. Let's do it. Let's do this. Alright, so check this out. I'm gonna pull this on my other screen. Actually, I won't need to. I think I can remember that. Alright, so let's do it like this. So for the first 4, we're gonna take that address array, and actually no, we're not. We're gonna take text dot split, and we're gonna split it like this, and we're also gonna say 4, right? And then for the last 4, we're gonna take that text dot reverse, okay, we're gonna do dot split. Now, how are we gonna do it? We're gonna do address array. Yeah. We're gonna do address array. What is this? Small subspaces from dot reverse dot. How did it go? I lost my train of thought. So we're splitting, reversing, and joining. So we have the reverse, and this is going to be silly. There's going to be a way to do this. Alright, so we reverse it, and then we want to take, we're going to join, and then split, four. So that's going to give us the last 4, but in reverse order. Reverse and then join is going to give us, what is this? Join. Expect a line break before join. Per chain call. Okay. And for this one, let's go dot join to turn that back into a string. So now for the result, which is a template literal, for the result we can just say first for, and then we'll have these ellipses, and then let's go in with last for. This really feels like one of those like tutorial JavaScript challenges. So this one's a little bit ridiculous, but basically we're taking an array. This one's just grabbing the first 4. That's not really a big deal. This one's a little bit more confusing. So this has already been split. So we have an array that contains all of the numbers and letters in this string, and then we're reversing that. We're joining it together to make it a string again, and then we're splitting it again and just keeping the first 4. So now we have an array that has just those last 4 digits of this string, but in reverse order. So now we're reversing it back, and we join it. So now we have a string that should have the last 4 in the correct order. So let's see how this goes. I'm not that confident. I mean, it should work. The logic should work, but I'm not sure if... Whoa! No way. Cool. That actually, it looks like it maybe worked. All right, let's take this join and do this. Let's try it again, because I think by default it joins with a comma, so we have to specify we want it to join with nothing. Let's see, 599. Was that the end of the wallet address or initially? I think they have it here, actually. No, that's not it. Okay. I can't remember if that was the end of the wallet address. So let's go back here and let's see what that original wallet address was. Alright, so let's print that twice. 5E99. There we go. 0x0c 5E99. Alright. Cool. Yeah, it works. Alright, cool. So let's check our Scratch file here. Yep, so that is what we wanted. It looks like maybe we can definitely go bigger with that font. So let's increase that. Let's go up to 18 pixels for this font here. Let's see. Alright. Not too bad. We might... I realize I'm zoomed in more in this one, but... Alright, I'll leave it like that for now. We can adjust font sizes later on. All right, now one thing it doesn't show in this sketch file is what I'm assuming is that maybe when you hover over this, there wouldn't really be a hover, huh? Because we're on mobile. So there's no indication that you can copy the address, but existing whenever I started working on this, existing in this project was this button that's supposed to copy to your clipboard your wallet address. Let's see if we can find it in here. Transactions. Yeah, I don't see it. Alright, so for now, I am going to leave it out since I don't see it. Maybe that's not a functionality that's wanted right now. And, we could always kind of figure out how to put it in later. Maybe it'll just be an icon to the side. But I definitely don't want this big, copy right there. So I'm going to get rid of this. Get rid of that whole button. But what we are going to do, let me see, balances, transactions, interactions. You know what, maybe let me put the button back in, but what we're going to do is change what it says. So we need to make these three. We need balances, transactions, and interactions. So let's say balances. So B-A-L-A-N. Balances. And transactions. Oh, I got a message here in the chat. Nurse, is it Free Code Camp, our instructor? I'm not exactly an instructor for Free Code Camp. I just do live streams for them. Okay. All right. So now you see we have those buttons like we want here, but they're they're right on top of each other. So what we'll do, we want these in kind of different sections. So you can see how I didn't do it down here. All right, in this coin row component, we've split things up and used Flexbox to align them differently. So we're going to do kind of the same thing, and we've just used views to split them up. So let's do that. What's the flex? Yeah. We may be able to put a section here though. Yeah, let's split it up into 2 sections. Let's see if we can do that, and if that'll work. If that'll make sense for us. So section, and we need to close this out. Section. All right. Let's just see if it makes a difference by adding those sections in. Okay, not really. We just have a little bit more space there, so that's going to be good. And then with this, we're going to do pretty much the same thing we did here, where we're going to say, where are we at? Flex direction row, right? So let's just grab this. and we can take out the padding for now. I don't think we'll need that. And whenever I'm developing, I kind of like to put the styles right in line here, especially when I'm going to be changing them a lot. And then, on the second pass through the component, kind of the first refactor, we can move all the styles out, and then it cleans up the component a lot. But, I just, sorry. I find it easier to just do it like this than to constantly be scrolling up, to put in my styles. Okay, so you can see we've gotten our desired result, though. We have balances, transactions, interactions. Okay, so we have our buttons there. Now, I guess what we'd, these aren't just normal buttons. These are going to be, when we click this, it's actually going to change what's displayed down here. And, depending on whether it's active or not, it's going to have this background. So essentially, it's going to shift, this whole what the user sees there. So I think what we'll need to do then is, let's say, yeah, so this bottom section, I'm going to think how these will look. I mean, they're actually going to look... Okay, so there will definitely be a different look here. And I'm not sure what interactions is going to look like. Alright, let's check out what our routing is like. Alright, so here's our right now our navigation, our tab navigation. Alright, so there's nothing already built in to handle that type of navigation. So not in our app.js, not in, I mean, we can double check here, but I doubt it's here, but let's check. Okay. Alright, nothing there, and obviously we've been on this wallet screen, and I I don't think there's anything in here about that. Alright, cool. So we're going to have to put in our own stuff here. So I guess the reason we could obviously just use our local state to show and hide those sections. But all right, so when you're in React Native, essentially like your navigation, it's a little bit different than regular React. Like there's a stack. Um, so if you were to hit, well, I wonder, does iOS even have this? I don't know if they do, but you know, on Android you have the back button. If you were to hit the back button, you would expect, or at least I would expect, I guess, if I go from this screen to this screen and hit the back button, I expect to go back to this screen, right? But if we don't make it in a way that that gets added to the stack, then you'd hit the back button, and instead you'd, even if you were here, you'd go all the way back to whatever screen you were previously on. So I don't think that's an expected user experience. So that's why we want to do it. Maybe it's a little more complicated to do it like this, but that's the main reason why I want to do it like that. So let's check out React Native routing. Just get a little update. So I think we're just using the regular stuff here. Let me double check though. See what we're pulling in. Navigation from React Native navigation. Actually I wanted the official docs. We don't need this stuff anymore. As I clicked, I just assumed that would be right there. So let's go. Let's look for that exact package. So we'll check. That was React Native navigation. Okay. So they're saying use React navigation, which this is what I was used to using. So let's check out this one and see what's different about it. Let's check it out. Alright, let's check our documentation. Alright, so we're importing, just want to be sure this is what we're doing. Yeah, we're importing navigation from React Navigation. And this is kind of the fun thing about working on a new project that somebody else is already working on. It forces you to learn a lot of stuff that you've not worked with before. So like even though I do React constantly and I've done React Native before, I've never used this particular package for navigation. Okay. see if I can find it. Oh. Screen to push other screens. Oh, okay. So navigator object is pass your components through props. All right, interesting. So we may already have access to that navigator object within our component anyway. So that's cool. I think let's see how it's being used here. Navigation, screen visibility listener. Thanks for importing navigation again. Okay. All right. So it looks like we'll have to register these different screens. Yeah, we'll have to register these screens, but then we can just use this. Push the new screen at this time. We can just use this to make the transition. Okay. All right, so let's go back here. And I guess where did they register these initially? No, this isn't where we registered. That was just for the tabs. Do we do it in an index? There we go. We're registering screens. Okay. All right, so wallet screen is the one that we've been working on. I don't really want each of these to be a separate component, though. Hmm. I don't know. All right. I make a decision now. Hey, Nikki, stop. Amon says every screen if you are using Wix, React Native Navigator. Okay. Nikki says, hey, just dropping to say hi, watching F1 qualifying and the E3 press conference. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that E3 was going on right now. Cool. All right, well, thanks for stopping in, Nikki. And, all right, so Amon's saying, is he saying every screen would have to be a component then? It just seems like a waste to have that. Trying to see. Yeah, because we don't have any. Seems like we'd basically be repeating this part every time. I mean, I guess there's ways we could do it differently. We could just put this off until I could figure out what the best way to do it is, and just make kind of like a simple changer just to be able to do the UI. That might be, I don't know, that might be a better way to do it. Yeah. Actually, what am I thinking? Right now, the only thing I'm attempting to do right now is just to replicate this UI. So let's just focus on that. It doesn't matter if these buttons do anything when you click them right now. I need to get some icons up in here, and I need to at least make one of these have a background just so I can see what it looks like. Once I do that, then I think we'll be okay. We'll probably split this out into its own component, because I imagine it'll start to get pretty big once we put more stuff in here. At that point, then we can look into, all right, how are we going to make this functional? And probably wouldn't be a bad idea to commit whenever the UI is in place. All right, so let's see. Looks like the color's good on there. We could take this and just add in that background. What's our border radius here? Let's find it in this rectangle. Okay, it's 12. And what's the color? Alright, that's pure black. Okay, pure black, border radius 12. Alright, so let's go back to our wallet screen, and let's say for this button, why are we doing... No, that's not the color that we want. If we're gonna do a gray color, we do it like this, because if you do gray, it is harder to read. Oops, I didn't want the 8.7, I wanted 5.4. There we go. So the hex color for gray is a lot harder to read than the than just like pure black with opacity, or like, you know, opacity of 54%, or whatever percent you want. So you can try it out if you want. Like, put two you know, things of text right next to each other on a screen. give one the hex color for gray and give the other one pure black with opacity. And even if you try to like match up so it's exactly the same color, it's still going to be more readable. So just a little trick. And I didn't come up with that on my own. If you notice in the material design documentation, they mention that. So in material design, gray is never the gray hex color. It's always this. Let's check font weights. Yeah, those font weights look pretty good. All right. So we have that color there, and let's say let's go with style equals, and we're gonna go with, oh, what did we just say? Background color. We're gonna say we are gonna give that a pure black. So we'll give that 3 zeros, and then for our border radius, the border radius, we're going to give that 12. Let's see if it will just accept 12. It's going to give me an error, maybe. Which one is this? This is the right one, right? Balance is good. And what's the problem? Alright, what did I mess up? Let's toggle the inspector. Let's see what's going on here. I want the button. Alright, that's interesting. Let me refresh. That's weird. Alright, so maybe let's check out button and see what where are we pulling in button from? Alright, yeah, let's see in the React Native documentation what we need for button. There we go. Oh, I see. Amon says thanks for the tip. Yeah, no problem. Up button. Alright. So I do title. Let's see the props. Is that it? Those are all the props? No. On press, it's required. Title's required. Color is not required. Color of text or background color of the button on Android. Okay, that's interesting to note. So on iOS, the color is the color of the text, but on Android, color is the background color for the button. So I wonder if then by default, buttons do not have a background color on iOS. Interesting. Yeah, we may need to go with touchable opacity, or this touchable native feedback. trying to think. I think touchable native feedback, at least the last time I used it, was only available for Android. Basically, what we'll do is we'll make our own button, and that way we can customize it how we want it. So let's take a look at this, and let's look at this background in terms of type of background. Oh, okay, I see how we can do this. So we can actually we can wrap a view in here, and then we can style that view. All right, this is great. This is the native feedback one. So this is responds properly to touches on Android only. I wonder if it falls back to something else on iOS, or if we have to do two buttons. Okay, Amon says use touchable opacity. You can use border props there. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, let's do. For some reason, these previews aren't working for me. I don't know what I have that's messing this up. All right, let me. Yeah, let's copy this. Where's our styles? Yep. All right, cool. So we can do that. All right, so I'm gonna copy and paste this, and also gonna import touchable opacity from it. Okay, so let's do that. So we're on the wallet screen, and let's import touchable opacity, and then down here, instead of this button, we're going to bring in touchable opacity, and what we need to do is, let's say, balances, and for now, I'm just going to copy this so that we have something in the on press. So, because it's required and I don't want to get an error. For our styles, though, let's grab this for now for our styles. And then we can also add a styles, and we'll throw in this color. Okay, and I think that's all we need. I don't know if we can put accessibility label on touchable opacity or not. Let's check it out. I don't know. Alright, let's take this button out. And whoop, what did I do? Oops. Okay. That should be it. Oh, styles is not supported. Style. There we go. Okay, so I can put the accessibility label. Awesome. So let's add that in. Thanks, Simon. Let's add that in. And I messed something up. What did I mess up here? Matthew says, are you building an app right now? Yes, I am right now. Oops, and I put the wrong color in here, obviously. So let's switch that up. Goodness. Okay, we're gonna need to do some. I think there was already some styles here that we should have just copied over. Line item center. Paddington. Yeah, let's copy these over. Matthew says the app looks pretty sweet right now. Cool, thanks. So like, yeah, so this is what the app looks like right now. These are the designs in Sketch. So we're trying to make it this look like this. We're getting there. All right, let me add in these styles in here. Alright, so we don't need another background color, but we could try this. There we go. That's a lot better. And then we definitely need a better font size for this. Try 18. There we go. Alright, now that's... I think the padding's a bit much. Looks good. Oh, cool. Amon says looks good. Yeah, it looks pretty close, but I'm going to try to drop that padding down a little bit. Let's drop it down to 8. Okay. That's not too bad. That, you know, maybe it's just the screen or how small this is, but that just looks hard to read against the black. And it really shouldn't be. I don't want to go up in font weight because I think that's the right weight. I don't know what the alright, so the height 33, 18. Alright, I gotta do some math. Alright, so 33 minus 18 equals 15, so divide that by 2 is 7.5, so let's go. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. 8 pixels definitely makes sense. That's right. I mean, yeah, if we wanted to go, let's try 6. Yeah. Yeah. 7. Let's try 7. Alright, I'm gonna go with 7. Really, like, I don't know, based on my really quick math, the padding here is like 7.5. Okay. Alright, that works. I think I'm worrying too much about it. Okay, so let's look back what we have here. And let's try to set these up. So we'll need a rectangle with 21 for the border radius. So there's actually, so there's 2 ways we could do this. We could like import icons, or use some icons that are available to us, and then put those icons within a view, and then use the border radius and create the background in the view, and then put the icon in the middle, and that would totally work. Or we could export these as images and use them. Let's see how easy it'll be for us to bring these icons in, because I think that's the way I would prefer. So let's try that. Let me just go here and type in icons and see, because I can't remember if there's an icon set that comes with React Native or not. Amon says exporting images will work. Custom icon for the tab. Actually, you know what? We're using icons already down here. Let's see where we're getting these from. So this would be, where are we pulling these in at? Maybe in the index screen? No, maybe not here. Probably then in app.js. Let's see. Are we importing any icons? Doesn't look like it. Oh, okay. So for the icons that we're using here, we are just requiring images. Alright, so let's do that. Let's go into Sketch and we'll export these. So this entire group we will export. Let's do this. This is what I did for some other stuff. Create symbol. We're going to call this transaction icon. Actually, it's a button. And then we'll do the same thing here. What is this? Group 2. Send button. Alright, now we can go to symbols and we can make that exportable. And yeah, we'll just export that as it is. And we're already, yep, I'm already in this folder, and we can call this transaction. Okay, I'm on saying there's no default icon set, but you can use React Native vector icons. It's setting it up is a bit of a task. Okay, yeah, I want to avoid that because I don't. Yeah, since we're already using this method of just using images for icons, then I think we'll just stick with that. All right, transaction button, and we'll do the same thing here. Make this exportable, and we're going to call this one send button. We'll save that. Okay. So now let's go back into our wallet screen and let's grab, I think we're already using, yeah, so we're already using this require. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. Because we're going to use now image, which we can get from React Native. And we'll go here to the documentation just to see. So there's several options you have for image. But one option that we can use is we can use this require for our images. So that's what we're going to do. And we can add styles. So I don't think we'll need to do much with the styles. Maybe just sizing. Alright, so now that we've imported that image tag, where are we at? I keep losing my place. Down here. Okay. So probably we'll want to keep sorry, I'm gonna refer back to my there we go. Okay, so this will be one whole section, this will be another section, so let's add some stuff in here. So let's make this basically, like, as far as I understand in React Native, you can use view tags like you would use divs. And we're going to do our image, and we're going to bring in that source. We're going to paste that, and we also need to make sure that we close that out, and we need to, do we bring in view? Nah, we need, I thought I just brought in image. I guess it took it out automatically. Alright, so image and view. We're going to bring those in. Okay, cool. So this is in here. Now, obviously, you're getting the wrong thing. So let's switch it up. Let's put the right stuff in here. So we want, what do we call it first one? Transaction button. And then we'll do another image. That's going to be send button. Cool. That's awesome. All right, the only thing I'm a little bit worried about is since we did it this way, like if we wanted like some sort of action when you clicked on this, it may be a little bit harder to do. Also, we'll probably want to wrap these in buttons or like touchable opacity. So actually, let's do that. Let's add a touchable opacity so it'll at least be clicky, right? So let's just grab what we have here, pull it up here, and we're going to get rid of a lot of this stuff. Yeah, we don't need the styles. And transfer. And touchable opacity. And not transfer. What was that one? No, I can't remember what we were calling that. Transaction. That's what I was calling it. Transaction. Transaction, and let's throw one in here, and this is going to be send. Why is this view doing this? Okay, cool. So we have a little effect now when we click it. All right, cool. That worked out well. I wasn't sure what it was the effect was going to be. So it actually has, we have some areas here where the button itself is square and the image is not. So there's going to be some area, but we're talking about clicking with your thumb potentially here, so I think it'll be fine. Let's see. You know what? I had a Pomodoro timer going, but it went off a long time ago, and I just totally forgot about it. So I guess I'm just gonna keep going. All right, let's work on positioning now. So within the view, I want and we can just copy and paste this since we're using it elsewhere. Within the view, both views, I want well, I shouldn't say both views. So this is fine within this view. It's fine for these to be stacked like that. But then within the other one, I want them side by side. So let's add the style flex direction row and see if it works. No. What's happening here? Alright, let's see what I've done. Okay, so we have a section, we have this view, it's closed here, so that's fine. We have this view. Oops, no, that's not the one. Why is it doing that? Alright. I don't know what I did. Let's spread this out. Maybe I could see it a bit better. Oh, there we go. I forgot a curly brace. Alright, that should sort it out. Alright, cool. So we have, there's a little bit of weirdness going on here. We'll sort that out in a second. But now this is looking how we want it to look, and we also want this flex direction row on this containing section. There we go. And so now this is up here, and let's take this view of flex direction row, and then let's call it align. Let's do align items, and we're gonna give it flex end, and that should put them over to the side. No. Justify content. We'll try justify content. Yeah, maybe it's that. No. Oh no. What's happening here? I'm on saying it's a row, flex end won't work. Alright, so justify content needs to be center. What is it then? Baseline. There we go. Flex end, flex start, space in between, space evenly. Alright, so it's not baseline, it should be center. Oops. Let me reload. Okay. So yeah, let's go with I just want this to be in the middle. There we go. a little bit better. Why? I just want to see what is going on here. So this image, width and height of 74. That's why. So our images here are different widths and heights. That's the issue. Okay. I guess I'll drop this down then to have a width and height of 62 as well. I kind of think that's a bit big. Let's check it again, right? I mean, we'll try it. We'll try it, but for an icon, usually I'm going for like 48 pixels square. But all right, let's do it. Where we at for our images? Style. Style equals. Let's make it. Yeah. And just give them both the same width and height. Oh no. Alright, now I understand. So when we pull these images over, somehow yeah, this this is so weird. All right, so in relation to the canvas, the actual image parts of these two things are different. Oh, Amon is saying try flex start. All right. Thank you. Where am I at? Flex. Justify content. Oops, and I forgot a comma. All right. No. Actually, now that I have the inspector out, let me find. All right, so this is our view. There we go. All right, so that's one view. I think I froze it. Let's retry it. No. All right, I froze my my simulator. Alright, I'll just restart it. You know what? Let me try this. There's my... I don't know where the simulator went. Oh, it's still doing its thing. There we go. Alright. It's got to do its thing. While that's doing that, let me look back here. Alright, so we may need to... I don't know, I might need to do something about this. It's 50... It's 50. That's weird. Yeah, I might need to do some adjustments to these and then export them again so that they're the same. Okay. Alright, let's see. So, whatever I did there was not working, but I could try to put them on here. Since for whatever reason I can't figure that out. I'm sure I'll figure it out at some point. Nope. Alright. Let me look at this component and see what I did. What did I do here that worked? Alright, so the section here is flex direction row, and then the view that encases the first two things. This one says align items flex end, and this one just says flex row 1. Maybe that's it. But yeah, I did flex direction row. So it would be, yeah, maybe it would be justify content. Try flex end here, but then up here for this view, let's go. There we go. All right, cool. So that's the part I was forgetting. So just to explain, basically what was happening there was even though I had tried using justify content flex end, and the reason I'm using justify content flex end instead of align items flex end is because when I switch the flex direction to row, so in React Native, the default flex direction is column. That's the opposite of in like normal Flexbox for the web. So when you flip it though, then essentially these get switched around as well, right? Because the axis gets switched. So anyway, so I was trying to do flex end, and that should have worked, but really what was happening was like these divs were both just big enough to contain their content. So it was really pushing the content over, but since the container was only big enough to contain those things, like you couldn't tell, right? So when I used flex grow 1, this then takes up all the remaining space, and then what's left over goes to this div. So really, let's see if this works without justify content. It might work. I'm not 100% sure, but I'd kind of like to see it. Yeah. Okay, so it does actually still work. So we don't even need that really, because that flex grow 1 expands this enough so that it keeps us in the right spot. Okay, awesome. Let's check out what we have here. So our goal was to recreate this, and we're close. One big thing that we're lacking is a little dot to indicate that we're on that network, so we can add that in, and then these icons are just kind of off. So what we can do though is we could maybe increase the width and height here of this one just to try to approximate what it should be, see if we can get close. So I'm just going to increase these by 4, see what we get. Okay, not bad, but see what's happening is it's not just increasing it, it's also throwing off alignment as well. Like you can see, there's just so much space around here that it is going to be hard to get this right, and we're going to end up with a big gap between these, which we don't really have a huge gap between them here. So I think we're better off maybe what can I do with these icons? And actually, we don't want these in the center. It looks like they're I mean, they pretty much take up the entire space here. If this was all one section, it would take up the whole space. It's not. Okay. I mean, it could kind of try to cheat a little bit here. Let's go. Let's do this and say margin. And we're gonna go negative 8. Yeah. Px. Oops. Let's see if it'll just let me use it without units. I don't think it will. Let's see. Hey, it did. Wow. No. Actually, we can get rid of this too. Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go over here and work with these just for a minute and see what we can do. Trying to find the difference between the two, but I'm not seeing anything. Okay, the only difference I can tell are in the shadows. So there's extra shadows on this one. Let's take those off and then see if that makes a difference. Yep, that's it. That's the difference, the shadows. Okay, we'll re-export this one. And let's just save this and replace it. There we go. Alright, so already we can see that now they're the same. Let's drop this back down. There we go. Alright, so now we have them the same. And instead of center, let's say, whoops. What are we going to do? Start. Alright, looks like it's not going to make a difference. So let's just get rid of it then. Save some space. Alright, awesome. Okay, so now we have these two buttons. Cool. Let's get rid of this inspector for a second. There we go. So we can click them. Click these. Now, in terms of just having like a mock-up type of thing, this works. It's not fully functional yet. Let's see. There's definitely more space between these on here. Yeah, there's a lot more space. But I mean, it's also a wider canvas. I believe this was for a bigger phone. This was based off of iPhone X, and this one is an iPhone 6. So if we had more screen real estate, I'm sure it would look a little closer in terms of spacing. Alright, cool. Alright, so the last element that we need on here is a little icon, or a little indicator. So you can see we have this little indicator here. And, you know, this is basically just a circle with color in it. So I was thinking we could recreate this by going up here where we have main network. And then we could just add a view. Oops. How's this going to work? No. Yeah, I guess we'll have to do a few view, and then I think we're gonna have to nest views. So we're gonna have to throw this inside just to keep our spacing, right? Because we want this to be flex direction. The normal flex direction, but this one we're gonna have to switch to flex direction row. So we're gonna have to do that here, and then within here we can do another view, style, and we'll just say width 10, height 10, background color. We'll look at what this color is. So what is this color? The hex. We'll grab that hex. So we'll say grab that hex color, and then we'll give it a border radius of 5, because that's half of 10, and so that should give us, yep. Let's see if we can close this view off like this. I'm not sure if it'll let us, but I think it's worth a shot. Okay. What is this? Let's see what it does. Yay, it worked. Okay, cool. So we have this little icon, same color that we have here. You see, we're going to need just a little bit more spacing here. So let's give this a, since we already have so many styles on it, let's add another one. Let's give it a padding right. Oops, let's go with a margin instead. Margin right of 4. Let's try 4 pixels. I think that looks about right. There we go. Wonderful. That looks great. I wonder what size this was, actually. So we may be able to grab it, get it to be the same size. Okay, it is 10 and 10. Great. So it looks, it's okay. The comparison's okay. We may want to increase the font size on that main network. It is just a bit hard to tell when I'm zoomed in like that. Maybe if I zoom out a bit, that would be a better, yeah. Oh yeah, when I'm zoomed out, the comparison is closer. You know what else? It looks like there's too much space here between these two. Let's check that out. Let's toggle the inspector and let's just see. You know what? Must be some default margin underneath there. So let's get rid of that. Okay, label must come with some default margin. So let's say margin bottom. And let's go with 0 just to see what that looks like. No? Is that not going to work? There we go. Okay, that's better. That looks a lot closer. Comparing it now, it does seem like that font size is larger. So we'll just adjust the fonts just a bit more here and say, let's give that a font size of 20. And let's see what that looks like. Oops. Okay, nice, nice. That looks. Yeah, that looks a lot more close. Probably could be even bigger. Yeah, I mean, let's try 22. I'm not really sure, like, I mean, I think that looks nice, but in terms of the function of the UI, like, how important is it that the first and last 4 digits of the wallet address are that visible? Yeah, I think that's probably the best, the most comparable. You know, just trying to like think out the UI. Like, do we want that to stand out as the most important feature? But I mean, not bad. I think that looks pretty good. Cool. All right, so the next step is probably going to be, I mean, there's a lot here now. We can definitely pull this out into its own component. So what I'll do is I'm going to copy. Let's copy coin row, and let's make a new component. We'll base it off a coin row. We'll adjust it as we need to, but that'll be a nice starter. So within components, wallet, I guess I'll call the component wallet menu. Yeah. Yeah, wallet menu will work. Wallet menu.js. There we go. And now we paste all this in here, and let's change this to wallet menu. Wallet menu. And now we can go in here and copy and paste a lot of this. Let's see which section. Is this where it ends? Let's see. Okay, so that's one section. And then we have two sections. And that's all within this card. Okay, so we're going to grab the whole card then. Okay. I'm just going to copy this for now so that I have a reference when we start changing things. And let's get rid of this. Oops. So now, let's grab all this stuff. We're going to add in this. And what we need, though, is, well, let's change up here first and get rid of some of these errors. So we definitely are using image view, but we're also using card, section, and touchable. Opacity, and button. Okay. I think that's it. Yeah. Okay, so we do have that. Do we have section? Yeah. I don't know why it's doing this, because section is already defined. Oops. We aren't pulling in section from there. Section is a custom component. So, all right. And then we need to figure out what props we have to pass in. So it looks like right now we definitely need to bring in address. And you know what? That ellipse address, let's pull that in now so we don't forget. So we need to import that ellipse address. And so we're going to bring in address. So, whoa, what happened there? That was weird. Let's pull in wallet address, and Oh, okay. You know what? These are just we don't need that. We don't need any of these. We'll just we'll bring in something else for that. But yeah, really. So the only thing that we're passing in is that wallet address. Okay. So at this point, let's pull in. So we'll do just like we did here. Let's copy this, paste it in here, and say wallet. What do we call it? Wallet menu. So with wallet menu, we're going to bring that in, and we're going to replace all of what we had here with wallet menu. There we go. Wallet menu, and then as a prop, we're going to say wallet address, and wallet address is going to equal address. Look how clean that is. So clean, right? Super, super clean. And then in here, we're going to bring in here, we're going to say wallet address. Right, and we're destructuring here, so we've already said this props. Wallet address, and we need to fix these. So everywhere where we have these things, let's say, let's go this dot on press. Okay, and then up here we'll just make, you know what, let's not even waste time making our own. Let's just copy from here. Button. Let's grab, since this is just going to be a placeholder anyway. Oh, it must have been on the touchable opacity. There we go. Here's our on press. Alright, so we got our on press, and here we're saying this state, but we don't actually even have that happening. So let's just do, I don't know, return null. Okay. And why are we getting these? Unexpected require. I think we're getting this no matter what, so I don't think that should be an issue. Alright, let's save that. Cannot property value of null. Where is this? Alright, what am I doing here? Maybe it's not gonna. Maybe it doesn't like that I'm trying to return null. Let's see what it's gonna say. No. It's hard to even see this. This is, I'm requiring an unknown module. All right. I see. All right. So evidently, as components, we already have. Okay. So card is. I think I see what's happening. We need to import card and we actually had a button component as well. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Interesting. I'm pretty interested to see what that button component would look like. Let's try it out. Let's get rid of this. All right, let's see what we get now. Unknown module, image, touchable, opacity, and view. Actually, okay, we still using. Alright, it says try restarting Metro Bundler, so I guess we'll try to restart that. It's worth a shot. It's not bad. It's a pretty good streak. We've been streaming for over 2 hours now, and that's the first like major error that we've gotten that we weren't able to solve, immediately. This takes a while. Just want this to work. We were so close to being able to actually submit a pull request on this. I know there's still a lot of pieces that need to be connected, but the look of the UI is just, it's really close to what we have here. So, oh no. Oh, okay, it didn't load yet. Sorry. I thought we got this screen again. Is it done? Alright, let's try this. Try the reload. Why is this opening? I don't I don't want to see this. Whoa. Alright, we're getting something. Oh, so that's what it looks like whenever we use the other button thing. Good to know. We're definitely not going to use that. So let's use the native button. And let's remove this. I kind of wish you probably shouldn't have a component called button whenever there's actually, something that we can pull in from React Native called button. So it may, if I can figure out everywhere where this is used, it may not be a bad idea to change the name of this. When these are named, if I were making a UI framework, I'd want to name things like that, but since we're making this specifically for this app and it's not really likely to turn into its own UI framework, I'd rather name things like I'm doing by their functions here, because when I started on this project, it was kind of hard to tell, like, wait, which stuff is custom and which stuff is native? Because we have things like button that actually is something in React Native that exists. So even now, like, I was surprised that we had this button. Okay, so it looks like everything's working, right? So we've pulled it all into its own component. It all looks the same. It all works. So wonderful. And we can see now, we have this whole separate component, which definitely still has some work to be done. We should probably pull out styles and things like that, but as I mentioned a while ago, I like to save that until I'm like more set on the styles. It's easier for me to think about when everything's right there in the element. Then I can split them out, and it's cleaner for other people to look back, or for me to look back later on and see the structure. But to leave it like this for a little while we're developing is faster for me. And so now let's check this out. I mean, this was it's still a decent size for a component because we have all this logic up here. But down here in our render, right, it's very clean. Right now we just have wallet menu instead of literally all of this, right? And then yesterday I'd done the same thing with coin row and cleaned it up. And you know, this is still pretty clean. I don't really see the need to turn this into its own component. I think that would be a little bit much. Yeah, but this is just a lot nicer to look at, and you could see, like, you know, basically this component is all about really like getting things loaded here, right? This loading the information about the wallet. So anyway, so that went well. I'm gonna go through the process now of submitting a pull request for this. So I'm gonna do a get status and see, like, what have we created. And I probably could have done a separate pull request for this utility. Maybe we'll do... I'm just going to make a separate commit for this, maybe. I don't know. I guess I don't want there to be a bunch of commits. Alright, we'll just do it all at once. Because that was really in the service of the UI here. Alright, so... let's add everything. And then we'll do a get commit. We'll put a commit message in here, and the commit message is going to be what feature we're going to have. I guess we'll just say add I'm going to say feed for new feature, and we're going to say add UI component for wallet screen menu. Alright, cool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a get checkout, and we're going to use the B flag to create a new branch, and I'm going to say wallet menu UI. Right, so when you do checkout with the B flag, it automatically puts you into that branch, which I find to be very useful because I've forgotten to go to check out that branch after I've created a new branch, and that can be maybe troublesome sometimes, especially if you accidentally submit a pull request with the wrong branch. So we have the wallet menu UI branch, and now we're going to do a get push. Whoops. We'll do a get status. This just show you, like, it's clean. Like, everything that we've just done on the coin row UI branch is now this branch, right? It's a complete copy of it. But when you do pull requests, you want to do them on separate branches. We've already submitted a PR on that other branch, so I don't want to get things, you know, muddied with the PRs. So let's go to get push origin, and then we'll say wallet menu UI. Okay, so now we've pushed that to my fork of this project. So let's go into GitHub now. What did I do? GitHub? Did I accidentally search for GitHub? Yeah. Okay. So let's see. I was hoping my repositories would be right there, but I don't see them. All right, let's do it like this. There we go. Balance wallet. Okay. So here is my fork, and you can see like I have a branch now for that wallet menu UI, right? And here's my 3 months ago. 3 minutes ago was the last commit, right? But what we want to go to is this original repository where I forked it from. So now that we've gone to this repository, we can see that it's automatically recognized our new branch, and we can compare and pull requests. So let's click on that. Zoom in a bit. Okay, so no, there we go. So I'm able to merge. These branches can be automatically merged, which is awesome. Okay, that means like there's not a lot of conflicts. So I'm going to go ahead and make this pull request to merge into master. Depending on the project that may not be the right branch to go into. But it's not 100% clear in this project which branch is being used. So like master branch was ahead of the develop branch by a commit when I first started, but then there was this other branch that was ahead by some commits, but it didn't have the same commits as master. So as far as I'm concerned, while you're still in development and you don't even have a beta out or anything, I'm okay to push stuff, to put pull requests in on to master. As soon as you launch something, then you want to keep one branch stable, and then have more than one person preferably test out the changes before you merge it to master. You know, assuming master is the branch that actually gets pushed to production. So just to let you know, like, you're not always going to want to, you know, send your pull request, you know, for that particular branch. But in this case, that's where I want the pull request to go. And I'm going to leave an explanation of what I've done here, and that'll make it easier for a project maintainer to know what's going on. So I'm going to say new component for the top card on the wallet screen. Functionality added. Function to digits. Zoom in. So maybe you can see now. First and last 4 digits of the wallet address with in between. Okay. Alright, I think that's good. You know what, I kind of like to put a screenshot of it in there so that people can see what, you know, they can just get a little view of what it looks like before, you know, otherwise they have to actually load it on their computer, go through the whole process of starting it up, right, to see what it looks like. This will be nice because they can already see the code, right? They already have my explanation, but the visual is really the only thing missing. So if I'm doing anything that affects UI, I think it's nice to include that. So let's toggle that inspector off, and I'm just going to take a screenshot here. There we go. Let's go back over here and put that image in, and we can preview. This is all in Markdown, and we can preview. Okay, there we go. There's what it's looking like. Okay. So that looks good. And I usually always allow edits for maintainers, right? Why not let the maintainer edit it? If they can make a quick edit and then merge that pull request, that's fine with me. Otherwise, they might reject the pull request or ask me to make the edits. It seems like it would just speed the whole process up if I allow that. So we're going to create that pull request. There we go. All right. Oh, you know, one thing I should have done, I should have squashed the commits here, because there's quite a few commits back here. Some of these were included in a previous pull request, so I'm not going to do it again, but depending on the maintainers and what they prefer, sometimes maintainers want you to squash, so there's not all these commits, and there's just one commit. In this case, I actually prefer to have this history to see what I've done and to be able to go back. But it's a preference for maintainers. Sometimes on larger projects, like it's very overwhelming to have so many commits all the time. It's easier if you want to get your pull request submitted, like or merged in, to make a small change, only one commit, and then submit the pull request. So, you know, this is quite large, a lot of things to do, right? We could have broken it up, but this is, I don't know how I decided to do it for this. And there's not a lot of people like on this project, so I think this will be all right. And the maintainers will generally let you know if they'd like you to do something different when you submit things. All right, that's cool. I have been keeping track of how much time I've been spending on this, so I guess I'll just show you how I manage my stuff here. So let me pull this over on this screen. This is a general spreadsheet that I use for all of my projects, no matter what. If it's for work, like my full-time job, or for a side project, sometimes even if I'm just doing a training, I like to see how much time I'm spending on it. So let's make it a bit bigger so y'all can see. So basically, the spreadsheet is simply you put in your date here, your hours, and I do my hours as, like, you can see here, like just the number of minutes divided by 60, and that gives me my hours. And then it just adds it up down here, and then I put in just brief explanations of what I've done. And this is usually just for my reference. If I need to, if it's for a client and they want to know like what I've done and about how much time I've spent on it, then, you know, I can kind of clean these up and explain more in a way that a client would understand what I'm working on. But that's what I like to do. And if I have multiple projects for the same company, I just make different tabs in the same spreadsheet, and that's how I keep track of things. So I'm gonna say here, wow, this has been a long time. So 50, all right, so I'm gonna say like this would be like plus 157. So we're going by minutes here. So it's been about 3 hours. And wallet screen layout. Yeah, actually this still covers it. We're still on that wallet screen. So that works. And let's see. I think now would be a good time for a little break. So I know there's still a few of you watching. What time is it? Yeah, now would be a good time for a break. I think I haven't eaten for a while, so that would be good. Um, yeah, so I think I'm going to finish up. If anyone really wants to see more streaming, I could stream later, but otherwise I think I'm going to wrap it up for today. This was kind of a nice kind of start to finish of this one UI element, going through like the whole pull request thing. So yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And you can follow the progress of this project from the GitHub repos and things. And hopefully we'll have something launching soon so that you can use it. In the meantime, you can check out balance.io to use their web app. And yeah, thanks for watching. And thanks for your help in the live chat. I know a few of you were pretty helpful, especially Amon. So I really appreciate that. And I should be back doing some live streams for Free Code Camp on Monday. And yeah, until then, have a great rest of your weekend.